Coach Wooden coupled those learnings, those teachings, and those messages of hope and inspiration and innovation with the 7-point creed that he received from his father. Those points, in no particular order: make each day your masterpiece, make friendship a fine art, drink deeply from good books, save and prepare for a rainy day, and then 3 more that I can't remember. I have no memory. Coach Wooden also talked about his 2 sets of threes that he received from his parents growing up in a small town in the Midwest, a family farm in the 1920s and 30s. Those 2 sets of threes: don't lie, don't cheat, don't steal, don't whine, don't complain, don't make excuses. Those 6 little sentences, caveats, phrases, covers a lot of ground and seem to be really easy when things are going well. But over time, in the 40 years that Coach Wooden spent as a teacher, Coach Wooden also developed thousands of little maxims that are so applicable to everything we do in our world and our daily lives, and particularly what we're doing here with San Diego Sport Innovators. Those maxims, starting with things like, be quick, but don't hurry. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Happiness begins when selfishness ends. Never mistake activity for achievement. The worst things you could do for the ones you love are the things they could and should do for themselves. And maybe one of the most interesting ones as it applies today to our organization, Connect the San Diego Sport Innovators, is that it's not how big you are, it's how big you play. Sports, basketball, life, it's not a game of size and strength, it's a game of skill, timing, and position. It's not how high you jump, it's where you are and when you jump. And so here I was, 17, 18, 19-year-old guy, looking a lot like this young man, Matt, in the back of the room back here, who just happened to be a college teammate of one of our sons back in Princeton. But an inquisitive young man, always asking Coach Wooden, why, how does this work? Coach, I don't understand. You tell me it's a game of skill, timing, and position, and not a game of size and strength. But if that's the case, how come, Coach? Please tell me how it can be that if it's not size and strength, how come Kareem has all the records, how come Shaq has all the money, and how come Wilt has 20,000 girlfriends? What's up with that? Coach Wooden was quick to point out that, well, you're so slow, you don't get it. Because it's not about material accumulation. It's not about physical gratification. It's about learning how to think, learning how to dream, how to build, how to create. It's also about the subjugation of the ego to the greater goal of the team, so that anything can be accomplished and we can win every single day. Now, I had the privilege of being in a lot of great winning situations. Sadly, my career was cut short. I'm the most injured player in the history of sport. I played 14 years in the NBA, but because of the structural congenital defects in my feet that led to an endless string of stress fractures, that now I've had 36 operations. I've had 2 fused ankles, my knees, hands, and wrists don't work. Now I have a fused spine. When I was fortunate enough to get into the Basketball Hall of Fame on May 10th, 1993, in the 5 minutes of allotted time we had to say thank you to everybody and get on with it so we could get to the bar, the guy from the NBA sitting back there where George is in the back of the room, realizing that as the most injured player in the NBA, I missed 9.5 full seasons of those 14 years. So he jumps up mid-sentence at the 17-minute mark of my 5 minutes of allotted time. He says, come on, Walt, let's wrap this thing up. Your speech is lasting longer than your career did. Sadly, that career came to a premature halt. And I was unable to play anymore after the mid-1980s when I was fortunate to be on my boyhood dream team, the Boston Celtics, and be able to go and rebound the ball for Larry Bird and rebound the ball for DJ and Kevin and the Chief and all the different players. But when I was having that first ankle fusion on March 15, 1990, knowing that I would never run again, when they took the big electric saw, cut all the bones off, all the ends of the bones off on the foot and ankle, pushed it all together in a big, nasty ball of bleeding bone, put 2 big plates on either side of it and bolted it around together. So I could come on September 14th, 2010 to the Richard Russell office building here in room 432. Room 432, which just happens to be Luke Walton's number and mine in succession. And so there I was, just terrified, not knowing what it was going to be. I would never run again. I would never have that wind blowing through my hair. I'd never be in the game in the huddle. I figured it was over. And so I was looking for that new inspiration. I was looking for that new sense of innovation, because in the end, we're all entrepreneurs. The ability to create something from nothing. That's what we do. Athletes, entertainers, politicians, businessmen, everybody. We have to make something new up every day to make a difference, to make that positive contribution. So there I was, at the end, I needed something new. Jerry Garcia, Bob Dylan, Leo Young, Tchaikovsky, the inspiration that came to me that day, that when you're 6'11", have red hair, big nose, goofy, nerdy looking face, freckles, a horrendous speech impediment, couldn't say a word because of my severe stuttering problem when I was 28 years old, couldn't say hello, couldn't say thank you at all. It dawned on me that I'm also a Deadhead, having gone to over 750 Grateful Dead concerts in my life, that television would be the only career possibility for me. So I did that for 19 years. Worked for everybody, did all the things, won all kinds of awards, did everything. But ultimately, I couldn't play in that game anymore either because my spine failed me. And over the last 3 years, I've just had the worst time imaginable. Visualize yourself being submerged into a vat of scalding acid, with electrifying current running through it and you'll never get out. I was on the floor and I couldn't move because my spine no longer held me up. The pain was excruciating, debilitating, and relentless. Fortunately, I turned back from the bridge. I was standing on the edge of that bridge, figuring it was better for me to jump and come back to the life that I had. Even more fortunate for me, I came across a new teacher, a new leader, a new innovator. Dr. Steve Garfin from UC San Diego, working in conjunction with a startup company out of San Diego, NuVasive, a company that works on innovative spine technology, equipment, and techniques. They were able, in an 8.5-hour surgery with 4 incisions across my back, to put 4 4-inch bolts into my spine, put 2 titanium rods up in there, hold it all together with a big erector set cage, and then put spacers between all the vertebrae. A week in a medically induced coma, and then 73 days of morphine. And when I came out, oh my gosh, the long, hard climb starts all the way back. A child's dream, Tchaikovsky, Bob Dylan. It sure has been a long, hard climb. And then, as I'm starting to get going again and trying to figure out that next level of inspiration, I came across Connect and Dwayne Roth. Dwayne Roth, the brilliant CEO and leader director of this nonprofit organization. We provide free services to business companies. And as the executive chairman now for Dwayne Roth, who is now my new Coach Wooden, my new Maurice Lucas, all wrapped up into one. Dwayne Roth shining the light, and Maurice Lucas clearing the path underneath the boards so that I can get my newest job, my newest dream come true. Because as that nonprofit business accelerating trade organization, we service all members of the economy. Now, our focus is sports innovation. For the startups, the entrepreneurs, the dreamers, the visionaries, Dwayne Roth just walked into the room as I speak. Dwayne, welcome. As the startup companies need the help of education, leadership, mentoring, and access to capital. These startup companies, they're the guys who have the vision, the dream, they're often in their garage, they have an understanding of the market, but they have no business sense. They have no ability how to start a company, how to run a company, the marketing plans, the financial plans, and all the things that go into it. So we provide all that service to them free of charge. And we put them in front, when they're ready, of the capital that allows them to grow and scale their companies. For the mature companies, we provide the access to the new technology. We're policy advocates for them in all of their business issues, and we also provide the best practice collaboration that every business needs. And then for the service providers who are so critical to our success, because our services are free, yet our mature companies and the service providers, they come in wanting in on the game of life, wanting in on the action. They pay membership and sponsorship fees. And when you look at the vibrant San Diego sports business economy here, a reasonable estimate of the total U.S. market is $425 billion, crossing all the sports in the entire spectrum. The action sport industry, retail sales a couple of years ago of $7.25 billion. Now, the action sports industry in Southern California alone employs approximately 27,000 people, and the golf-related activities, we have two huge players down there, billion-dollar companies, Callaway and TaylorMade Adidas, who are headquartered right in the center of our economic cluster, a cluster that has 600+ companies doing sports innovation, technology, manufacturing, that also includes internet companies like Active.com that allows people to participate, Reef, Rusty's, Nixon, the watch company, all these different companies in every different sport, they're all right there in San Diego. The most popular extreme sports. This list does not address the casual bike rider, the softball player, the guy who's out there running in a marathon. These are the extreme sports. The tens upon tens of millions of participants in the extreme sports, inline skating, the mountain biking, the paintball, the climbing, the mountain and rock climbing, the BMX bicycling, all the different sports. These are all industries. These are all sectors of our cluster that we are focusing on to support. We at Connect, with San Diego Sport Innovators, we have three areas of public policy priorities. For one, intellectual property, our ideas. We have all grown up thinking that education and our brains, our dreams, our ideas are our most valuable assets. That remains true no matter what industry or business you're in. Access to capital. We need the money. We need the money for our companies. We need that ability to grease those skids and provide tools so that these companies can come in. And then finally, the workforce. The players, the team members, the guys who are going to come and provide this innovation, this dream, this illumination. Let's go back, we'll stay here on this slide for one moment, and think of that middle tier again. The middle tier of the pyramid of success. Skills, physical fitness, and commitment to the team. That is this slide right here. Skills, that's our brain. That's the ability to think. That is what separates us from our competition. The ultimate champions, we win with our brains. The second one, access to capital, that's the tool. That's the physical fitness. That's the weight equipment in sports. That's the ability to train properly. But that's what allows us to develop that level of physical fitness so that we can become the champion. And finally, the workforce. That's the players. That's the team. Willingness to work together, to dream together. And without any of these, you can't move on to those performance tiers at the top of the pyramid of success.